All right, and welcome back to the Doug Karns program here on All Noise Radio. 267-495-4866 is my phone number, or email me at dougkarnsprogram@gmail.com. You can also like my Facebook page if you just search for the Doug Karns program on Facebook and hit the like button. That way I can send you when there's a new show coming out and what we're talking about and certain important news stories that during the week that, since we're only on Wednesdays, I find important that I think you should read and pay attention to. All right, so we were talking about the Wall Street protesters, Occupy Wall Street, which honestly, these people need to occupy a job rather than occupy themselves on Wall Street. But I guess that's their whole point of protesting outside the big banks. So before we go back to Ann Coulter, let me play this one clip from Roseanne Barr. She was on the Kaiser Report, some internet, trashy site, giving an interview. Just listen to what she has to say, and she's dead serious. She's not making a joke. She actually believes this, and she associates herself with the Wall Street protesters that she was down there with a couple days ago. So let me play this clip here with Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, I saw you on Twitter. You were tweeting from the Occupy Wall Street. You're down in the trenches, and one of the tweets that you posted. You said, Roseanne Barr, if corporations are people, then Goldman Sachs needs to be executed for premeditated mass murder, terrorism, mayhem, and grand larceny.
Yes.
All right, before she goes on, so you would think that's maybe just like a impulse, outrage, remark that she might be sorry for? Let's see what she has to say.
Absolutely.
Would this be your platform then, running for president?
It's part of it. The part of my platform is, of course, that the guilty must be punished, and that we can no longer, let our children see their guilty leaders getting away with murder, because it teaches children that, they don't have to have any morals, and as long as they have guns and are bullies, that they'll win. And I don't think that's a good message. I do say that I am for the return of the guillotine, and that is for the worst of the guilty.
You're singing to the choir on this show. We've been advocating the guillotine for years now.
Oh, well.
Are you listening to this? I know it sounds crazy to you listening right now. It sounds like, oh, she's just, she's off a rocker and she just doesn't get it. Well, this is actually what they have guillotines down at the protests. Our professors and our schools are teaching kids that socialism and communism is the better way compared to capitalism. And we all know where communism, look at China. They kill millions of their own people a year because they either do something wrong or they have too many kids. That's communism. Do we have that here? No. But we keep going down this slippery slide where we're going to get to that point someday in this country that the government will be the everything for us. They will kill our own people. And I know it sounds crazy. It really does. But this is what happens. Hitler didn't rise up over, in Germany overnight. It took him years to, act like he was a normal human being, and then all of a sudden he just killed millions of Jews. You build up to that point. That just doesn't happen overnight. And that can still happen here if we do not do anything about it.
Fantastic. We think alike in many ways. I first would allow the guilty bankers to pay, the ability to pay back anything over $100 million personal wealth, because I believe in a maximum wage of $100 million. And if they're unable to live on that amount, then they should, go to the re-education camps, and if that doesn't help, then be beheaded.
Oh. So, re-education camps, just like communist Russia and Germany, and then if that doesn't work, we'll just chop your head off. Obviously we don't need you. We're just going to chop your head off and move on to the next person. Now, does that not sound completely crazy to you? And this is what they believe down at Wall Street. They want a revolution. See, the Tea Partiers, we don't want a revolution. We know that's bad for the country. A revolution could destroy our Constitution and the country as we know it. all we want to do is reduce as much government as we can and leave a smaller government in place. So there's not all this crazy, red tape and what's the word I'm looking for? Overbloat of a government spending money. I mean, we're just tired of it. We don't want anarchy. We don't want communism. We don't want socialism. We want the system we have now, just a smaller version of it, back to where our founders found it. I know some people have a problem with me saying that, which I might get to a commenter later in the show, because I need to take him on about this because he totally called me a racist for no reason. But, that's all we want is a smaller government. These people actually want a new system, a revolution for a new country. So take these people seriously. Don't take them lightly. Listen to what they say because I'm telling you, this Wall Street, it's already moving to Chicago. It's moving to Boston. It's going to be moving to L.A. soon. Who knows? It could be coming to Philly. It's going to start spreading. It's going to be civil unrest, and it's going to become a life of its own. Right now, it's manufactured by colleges and the left and Van Jones and all that. But it's going to start taking becoming a life of its own and growing by itself without a push. So you got to start taking these people seriously.
Now, we just recently saw the guillotine rolled out in a huge protest in Israel. 500,000 people in the streets. Basically, they are part of this global, what some call, or I call, the global insurrection against banker occupation. Has there been any...
Banker occupation? Like, they're trying to say that the bankers put everybody in debt. It's their fault. No, it's your fault. You're the one that signed the loan. If you didn't want a house, if you didn't want to go to college for $90,000 a year, you shouldn't have gone to it. You should have never signed those loans. But you did. And the Wall Street protesters are trying to, say that this is the banker's fault. It's not. It's not. You're the one that signed the contract. Nobody forced you to. It's not my fault that this system of government has forced college into our lives to the point where almost everybody, the Department of Education has forced college into our lives where it's almost impossible not to go into college. So everybody goes into these $30,000 a year colleges to $50,000 to even $100,000 a year colleges, and they rack up these huge bills, and then they come out and there's no jobs because between oversaturation, the recession, and just some degrees that you can't get jobs with, like what's the one? Just sociology. Like, what do you get a job in for that? No, there's hardly anything, So they come out. This is whole. We're gonna have to talk about Cloward and Piven in the next break because this is their whole plan, is to get these students so far in debt and not to get a job outside of college that they're going to start causing civil unrest like they are. Look at Wall Street. It's just the beginning. And how year after year after year we're adding new college students into the job market, and there's no jobs for them. So they're going to be in debt all this money that some have borrowed from the government, some have took out private loans, and they're not going to be able to pay them. And they're going to be, their credit's going to go down the tube because they can't pay them. So they got to make an enemy out of somebody, and that's the banks. And this is exactly what they're doing. And Roseanne Barr, with her, guillotine talk, is making it even worse. Because desperate people are going to start believing that. Just like desperate people in Germany started to believe in Hitler, that it was the Jews' fault. I mean, people were with the Jews until Hitler started convincing them because people were hungry and had no jobs. That the Jew was the problem, and that's how Hitler got the sanction to start killing Jews. And this is the slippery slope that we're going down. We got to take these people seriously. We can't. College students need to realize that this is not anybody but, the government is causing this problem, not the bankers. All right, so let's go back to Ann Coulter here, and we'll talk about it right after this.
Of this country and with the American Revolution.
Weigh in on Roseanne Barr, who was interviewed for RT Russian TV, whatever that thing is, but responding along the lines of what's going on Wall Street. Listen to what she had to say about the bankers.
They should, go to the re-education camps, and if that doesn't help, then be beheaded.
You just said it.
She is a comedian, so I assume that was a joke, though I must say there are similar protests to this in Israel, and if I only knew how to post photos at my webpage, you would see the photo in the middle of the protest. They have a guillotine set up. It really does all come from the French Revolution. And the one additional thing I'd like to say about Roseanne Barr, this nonsense of these people both being against Wall Street and pro-Obama. Apparently the Wall Street protesters want Obama reelected. How many times do we have to tell them Obama took in the largest haul from Wall Street any presidential candidate ever has?
In the history of candidates. In the history of candidates, right, Obama has taken more contributions from Wall Street than any of them.
And it's not just Obama. The Democrats always do. It's the damnedest thing that the Democrats get to take in.
All right, this is where I get a little tired of Ann Coulter because she just says Democrats. I mean, all of them do. They take big chunks from Wall Street, Republicans and Democrats. But the thing is, it's Obama's own people that are pushing this Wall Street thing. I mean, Van Jones was a good friend of the president until he had to make him resign because he was getting too much pressure from people saying that he was a communist. I mean, the American people were asking, why is there a communist in the White House? And he never answered that question 2 years ago. And he just let Van Jones go over the weekend, and nobody ever asked a question ever again after that. And now you got Van Jones pushing this Wall Street. He's pushing it hard. He's doubling down on it, and he really wants this to happen. He's pushing revolution in this country. I mean, this one organizer says it the best, which don't mind Al Sharpton's amazing broadcasting skills. I mean, he's perfect in every single way. But listen to this organizer of the Occupy Wall Street movement, and listen to what he says of what this movement really is.
Joining me now from Lower Manhattan near Wall Street is Harrison Schultz, one of the organizers of the Occupy Wall Street. Harrison, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Reverend. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Tell us a little about the movement that's going on in Wall Street.
The movement down here is incredibly exciting. It's incredibly exhilarating. And honestly, my opinion as a professional sociologist, I think that this is the beginning of a revolution in this country.
A revolution going toward what? What are the goals? I see an excitement. I really love the way that there's been discipline and nonviolence, except on the other.
First of all, why does Reverend Al Sharpton? He doesn't have to yell on TV? He does know he's mic'd up, right? He doesn't have to yell across to the camera. Like, he always talks like, all right, and we have this guy right here. Like, just bring it down just a little bit. You have a microphone clipped onto your suit. You don't need to yell into the microphone. Everybody can hear you. It's modern technology. All right, well, we're up against a break right now, so we'll come back, finish this clip, and we'll talk about it. We'll be right back.